A number of right-wing conservative music fans are triggered after they realize that Rage Against the Machine's message is anything but a conservative message. So now this comes after a Twitter user had addressed the band, saying, "I used to be a fan until your political opinions came out. Music is my sanctuary, and the last thing I want to hear is political BS when I'm listening to music." So look, I don't know if that's a parody account. If it is, it's effing brilliant. But at the same time, I have heard a lot of conservatives say a lot of things just like that. And they were very, very serious about it. Okay, so now he said this: "As far as I'm concerned, you and Pink are completely done. Keep running your mouth and ruining your fan base." Who do you think Rage Against the Machine's fan base is? Well, again, to be fair, there is a notable conservative that was in a very high position of power that I'm going to talk about a little bit later in this segment. But first, okay. Now, look, what song from Rage Against the Machine isn't actually political? What did you think Guerrilla Radio was about primates? I mean, come on, dude. I'm trying to figure out what Rage song doesn't have a political message to it. I mean, look, Bulls on Parade. I believe that's about imperialism. There's a verse in it, or it's the chorus: "The rail around your family with a pocket full of shells." I mean, who's rallying around your family? Either it's the military force or the police. So that could be applied to both. But seriously, come on, man. Really? It's kind of like saying, I like Star Trek until the SJW movement ruined it. Wait a minute. Star Trek's always been a bit SJW from the beginning. I mean, think about it, right? The setting here: literal utopian space communism. Or is it luxury space communism? Something like that. Jean-Luc Picard in now I'm for some reason forgetting which movie it was, but he talked about how the future was so much better after people stopped prioritizing the accumulation of wealth. You had Deep Space Nine and the Bell Riots. You had Uhura and James T. Kirk doing the first interracial kiss. Come on, man. Really? They've always been political and SJW. In fact, a lot of the alien species are stand-ins. And a lot of the situations are stand-ins for contemporary issues. First Contact. I can't believe I forgot that. I'm a terrible fan, apparently. So now back to Rage, right? So now Rage member Tom Morello, now he's a big activist on the left. And so he responded to this. And he said, "Scott, what music of mine were you a fan of that didn't contain political BS? I need to know so I can delete it from my catalog." So that's awesome. But now I mentioned a very powerful person that liked Rage Against the Machine, right? That person was Paul Ryan. So this happened all the way back in 2012. It feels like a lifetime ago, right? So Paul Ryan comes out and he says, "I love Rage's music." Oh man, that's great. Now that's hilarious because Paul Ryan literally represented the Machine. So now he's retired, but he used to be Speaker of the House. And he literally ran as on the presidential ticket with Mitt Romney. So now, when that happened, again, here's Tom Morello writing an op-ed in Rolling Stone, and it was fantastic. He said this: "Paul Ryan's love of Rage Against the Machine is amusing because he is the embodiment of the machine that our music has been raging against for 2 decades. Charles Manson loved the Beatles but didn't understand them. Governor Chris Christie loves Bruce Springsteen but doesn't understand him. And Paul Ryan is clueless about his favorite band, Rage Against the Machine. Ryan claims that he likes Rage's sound, but not the lyrics. Well, I don't care for Paul Ryan's sound or his lyrics. He can like whatever bands he wants, but his guiding vision of shifting revenue more radically to the 1%, is antithetical to the message of rage. I wonder what Ryan's favorite rage song is. Is it the one where we condemn the genocide of Native Americans? The one lambasting American imperialism? Our cover of F the Police? Or is it the one where we call on the people to seize the means of production? So many excellent choices to jam out to at young Republican meetings. I love the level of snark that is in this. And he ain't done yet. He says, don't mistake me. I clearly see that Ryan has a whole lot of rage in him. A rage against women, a rage against immigrants, a rage against workers, a rage against gays, a rage against the poor, a rage against the environment. Basically, the only thing he's not raging against is the privileged elite he is groveling in front of for campaign contributions. He could have written this yesterday and been 100% about everything that he's saying. It's so good. You guys should go and reread that. It is amazing. And again, this is when Paul Ryan was actually somewhat relevant as he was running for vice president with Mitt 47%. Now I'm marching with Black Lives Matter Romney. Just saying. But I'm always kind of curious what machine these conservatives say that they're raging against. I mean, there's one answer to that, I guess, and that would be the government, right? Now, they don't like the government when it tries to help poor people, when it says you must pay taxes so that we can redistribute that wealth to fund schools and healthcare and all that stuff and take care of the poor. So, we hate that. We hate that machine. That machine that actually helps people. Ugh. I mean, giving people an education so that they can learn facts. No, I hate it. I hate that machine. How dare you tell me to respect minorities and women? I don't want to. I'm not going to do what you tell me. No, in reality, groups like Rage, they're actually going after real power. They're punching up. They're going against corruption, imperialism, greed, racism. That's the machine. That's the machine. The very thing that crushes our collective humanity, separates us by class and religion and color, teaches us to hate each other for small, stupid differences. That's the machine that we're raging against. All right? These conservatives, they don't understand it because, maybe they don't want to understand it because, look, they are part of that machine. They are the cog in that machine. That said, here's some fun reactions, right? So I said, Tom Morello, great reaction, but we've got more on social media. One person wrote, the people angrily denouncing Rage Against the Machine for Tom Morello's leftist politics was one of the most hilarious things that I've ever seen on the internet. What machine did you think they have been raging against for decades? The ice cream machine? The ATM? Lawnmowers? I love it, man. Another asked, what machine did you think he was raging against? The dishwasher? Maybe the stove or the refrigerator. I don't know. Another person said, please rage with the machine. Yes, let's rage with the machine. Yes, sir, I will do what you tell me. Another one wrote, and this is another one quotes, this is very timely. Some of those who work forces are the same that burn crosses. I know I messed that up, but that's from Killing in the Name, right? Some of those who work forces are the same that burn crosses. And that's, of course, a reference to white supremacist policing. And, of course, at this time, we've got Black Lives Matter that are literally protesting over the same thing, over the fact that we have racist policing in this country. And so they added, those who die are justified by wearing the badge, they're the chosen whites. That is another part of that verse. And so, yes, that clearly explains what's going on in policing. On those deaths, they try to justify black deaths. And so I would say that those political views are like pretty transparent. I'm just saying. All right. So now another one says, Racist white dudes suddenly realizing what Rage Against the Machine lyrics are about after decades of listening. It's the funniest thing since they discovered that Star Wars is anti-Nazi after watching it for 40 years. You know, I mean, that was amazing too. Like, oh no, Star Wars, not anti-Nazi, no, anti-left. Are you kidding me? There was that whole fascist empire that was against aliens. They hated aliens. They employed literal stormtroopers to crush dissent. All of that stuff. They have an emperor. Look, the entire message is anti-fascist. Luke Skywalker is freaking Antifa. Okay, George Lucas, who created the whole thing, not a fan of Nazis. That's why Harrison Ford's character in Indiana Jones would regularly punch Nazis. I'm just saying, like, I don't understand it. Look, it shouldn't be a surprise that so much of our popular art and music happens to be leftist in nature. Many of our most creative people subscribe to a somewhat more leftist ideology. And by that, I mean social progress, right? Social progress, freedom, liberty, compassion, and a general uplifting of the powerless to take on the tyranny of fascism and greed. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.